You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it a back day. Yeah, I got game, got in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on this beat, call it Turnpike Miles. Yeah, it's Buku signing on.
Welcome back everyone to another edition of Once a Week. I'm Giannouloudis, and today we have Andrea Urciuoli back on the show with us with another great message. And guys, we felt today's message is something that we all go through, but sadly, some of us never really realize that we're actually in it. And what that is a toxic environment. And more so, the toxic people that we tend to surround ourselves with. Because you really become the people you're around, but until you start to realize how you're being affected by those people, you can't really shift it to better your own life. So today, guys, we want to help you realize, are you around the best people that have the best for you, are supporting you, or are they just trying to keep you where you're at? So Andrea, thank you for being on the show. And let's dive into this message.
Yes, so today we want to talk about toxic relationships, toxic people, and energy vampires.
Okay.
And I think we've all experienced being in a relationship where whether you're having dinner with a friend or you guys are working out together, do you leave that moment, that situation, feeling light? Mm-hmm. Oh, that was a good time. I haven't seen my friend Tom in a while or Sue in a while. Or do you feel tired? Do you feel depleted? Do you feel sometimes like confused, like you want to scratch your head and say to yourself, I said like 4 major things tonight at dinner and I don't remember acknowledging or wanting to listen more or offering some feedback. It's almost like if you're in a relationship where you don't feel like you're playing tennis. Yeah. Like you say something and I respond to what you just said, yeah, because it makes sense to me or I wanted you to clarify. And then it goes back to me, and then it goes back to you. It's banter. It's tennis. It's healthy. Yeah. But if you feel like you're talking, and I'll bring up an example because this happened to me recently. Yeah. And this person doesn't say much, mm-hmm, or there's not like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm glad you got to do that. Yeah, you know, good for you. Or something good happened to you at work, or you had a great evening the other night, and there was not much of a kind thought or a kind message back to you. Yeah. And then you felt like there was this uncomfortable silence. That's not a healthy place to be in. And I think it's up to us, mm-hmm, to set boundaries, yeah, and to not be so, because there's a catch-22 because I study mindfulness, yeah, and I don't want to cause problems and I don't want to open up the door of conflict. But you can be mindful to someone else and to yourself by setting boundaries. Yeah. Because you're showing mindfulness and good qualities to yourself when you set the bar of, I'm not sure I want to be around this much more. Exactly. I didn't feel light when I left this situation. This is like the 10th time we've gone out. And she has told me a story and I have interjected and listened, but I told her some really good things that went on in my life and I didn't get anything back. Yeah. That is not, to me, that's toxicity. That's and right. That is an energy vampire. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I think with the boundary aspect, it comes down to the choices you make. But with the boundaries, I think we struggle with understanding and realizing, is this environment good for me? Is this person giving me back what I'm giving them, like you just touched on with us? So being able to make that choice of, is this person just here to get what I can give them, and I don't get anything back in return, like a healthy relationship would be, like the tennis aspect you explained? Or do I have to make the choice to better myself by not ignoring the person completely, but understanding the boundaries of like, all right, if this person's going to flick that switch where they start just sucking everything out of me, I can't allow that for my own well-being. And that goes so much deeper mental health-wise, and truthfully every health-wise, because we got to make the choice where we're not being affected by other people. And I was going to bring this up later on, but I think it dives into this boundary aspect. It all comes down to a self-esteem type deal.
Yeah.
And the self-esteem is, these energy vampires, as Andrea touched on, if you think about it, someone with a high self-esteem, a confidence in themselves, they're shining their light. They're operating truthfully, and you learn this in Dr. Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural. When you have a high self-esteem, confidence in yourself, you're operating at a higher frequency, meaning your light is shining brighter. The boundary stuff and the choices we just touched on, someone with a low self-esteem, a low confidence in themselves, is walking at a lower frequency.
Yes.
The lower frequency light that they're giving off is going to search for a higher frequency, a higher light aspect. So,
yep.
With Andrea's example she just gave, she operates at a higher light. Someone's going to go to her and try to just be around that light. It's happening unconsciously, subconsciously.
Yes. Energetically, we feel it,
Exactly. This person's going to come and try and grasp that. But Andrea's getting nothing in return. So this idea of sucking that energy out of her is saying that the lower frequency is going to try and grasp onto that light for the time that it needs it. And Andrea is literally feeling drained.
Yes.
To her, she needs to make the choice to set up a boundary where, like, for my own well-being, I can't allow this.
Yes.
And with that low self-esteem person that just got the light out of, the energy out of Andrea, if they don't realize that they need to flick a switch where they can now operate at a higher self-esteem and confidence, they're going to dump the energy they got from Andrea and keep looking for more energy.
That's what he says.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's neuroscience for you, one-on-one. Thank you.
Yeah, but the boundary stuff is 100%.
100%. Now, I was raised in a very controlling environment. My dad was very old school. The glass was always half empty. He never said, "How's your day going?" Or if I had said, or my brothers as well, if anybody said, "I don't think we can do that, that seems really hard." Well, a healthy parent would say, "I think you should try it. I think you'd be good at that." Within reason of something, not like climbing the Empire State Building, but you know what I mean. But a healthy parent would say, "It doesn't sound like a bad idea. I think you should test that." I was always told, "I think it is too hard and you should quit. I don't think it's going to be." So when you're raised, when you're raised under that sort of victimization, scarcity, it's coming from a place, because he came from 1939, it was World War II.
That's right.
So there was a reason why he came from that. But and unconsciously, he didn't even know he was passing it on to his children. So we all had to sort of transform on our own, but it took us years to figure out we would allow toxic people into our lives, or we would just tend to be people pleasers. We would be around toxic people, but never realize, I can't do this anymore. So now, after my situation and in my late 40s, you know what? I understand it. I know it right away. This isn't healthy. I don't have to say anything. I just take a step back. When I go inward, and I don't mean on the first, I met this great girl, we were at the gym, and all of a sudden she turned me off. I don't mean that. I mean, after a while, I'm in a relationship. Years gone by, I'm not really getting anything out of this friendship. I don't mean an intimate relationship. You should know that early on. But I mean in a friendship with one of your friends where I'm really not sensing that there's this level of support towards each other. You really should know. And it took me years to differentiate because I was unconscious. I didn't realize as a child that was being done to me. So you tend to become, when you didn't get the love and attention that you needed as a child, you tend to grow up being either more narcissistic or a people pleaser. You need to be in the middle. Not narcissism, but you need to take care of yourself and put that oxygen mask on so you could be a good son, a good father, a good whatever, and be healthy and set boundaries, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely does. And another important piece you brought up too is the victimization type thing, because, or the why me aspect. And like you just touched on with your own upbringing, you were kind of always told that if you can't do it, don't bother.
Don't bother.
That, again, falls in line with the book Becoming Supernatural, because that affects you on a cellular level. Like a cellular level. And I know there's a whole lot of neuropsych that just came out in this video. But
I love it though.
It's true. When we can talk about this for you guys and it enlightens you, it opens your eyes to this, that's when you can realize it and make the switch. So with what Andrea just touched on with this victimization pattern, at an unconscious level, when that's given to you growing up, and you start to operate out of that, or why me, why me, why me, as you get older, your genes in you start to operate under that, so it creates sickness.
Because that's all they know. That's all your cells know is that feeling. I was trying to interrupt.
No.
So you're right.
Yeah.
So your cells, we're both reading the same book, by the way, Supernatural. And it's such an awesome understanding because it turns a light bulb on because it makes so much sense. So your cells in your body energetically only know to not complete something, to not finish it. Exactly. I'm not good enough. I can't handle that. I shouldn't go for that job. That relationship is too good for me. He's too good for me. She's too good for me. All of that, you've been drinking that Kool-Aid for years because that's all your cells know. Yeah. To switch it and transform, you got to feel uncomfortable. You got to go for that job. You have to go for that relationship or that person that you don't think you're going. You have to go for things, and that's how you break. And then when you start to feel good, the cells start to drink that Kool-Aid.
And they switch.
Exactly. And I love that. Yeah. It's such a great message. That's when you start to transform.
Exactly. That's so powerful in itself because when we are brought up in such a way, that's all we know. Like we just touched on, unconsciously, it's the entire pattern you've been following. As Andrea just said, when you try to switch that, it will feel uncomfortable. But when you can realize what it's a reward at the end of it, but what massive success you can bring into your life by taking a step of faith, by, like you just said, going for the person that you don't think you can get. Because in your mind, you were always told you can't get them. But you said, you know what? I'm going to do it. You completely change your confidence level, aka the self-esteem stuff we just touched on, but also your genes start to change and you start to operate at a higher frequency, higher self-esteem, a higher light aspect, causing, yes, your mindset to shift, but your physical body to shift, and just everything starts to shift.
Yep.
For the positive.
For the positive.
Exactly.
And you know what? I will say this with not to sound hokey or cliche. My God, once you get there, that's why this is such a great message.
Yeah.
It is such a feeling, and it's such a, you get this epiphany of, this is what it's supposed to feel like. And when I felt the transformation of, I got this, and I can do this, and nobody's going to tell me that I can't do that, or I wasn't raised in that household, so I'm not capable, or I'm not capable of this level of, this job, or whatever it is that you want in your mind, and you keep putting yourself down because you were put down for the past, 25 years or so, or 30 years or so. You can. Yeah. You can do it. If you have dreams of something, but you've been put down your whole life, that's when you know you got to get to work on yourself. And when you start to, it doesn't mean you're going to be perfect in a week, but when you start to feel better about a situation, or you made some little progress, or things are changing, and those cells are now on the positive spectrum, it's like no other feeling in the world.
Exactly, 100%. And I know this entire idea can come at you guys like, oh my goodness, this is so much. So something that stuck out to me, before we did this video, Andrea and I were going over this message and how we can convey it to you guys in such a way. The how to start this process, Andrea, you actually mentioned it, the how for you, when we were talking before we even started recording, and what stuck out to me is the people with the drive that you could look up to are already in your life. And once you realize that, you start to look for them because you can look up to that drive. Andrea, you told me a story with regards to that where there's a woman in your life where she has been going through a lot. And yet she still is dedicated. She has so much on her shoulders, and yet she's still willing to pursue, to create her own business and everything, and she's doing it.
She's doing it.
And Andrea saw that, and now Andrea's even more driven. This is just a person in her life that she saw. Like, you know what? She's got something that I don't have that I want for herself. So Andrea's making the shifts in her own life. So for you guys, with everything we just went over with neuropsych, with toxic environments and everything, take a step back, look at who you actually have around you, and look for that person that has that drive. It could be someone in your immediate life. It could be someone you see on a YouTube video.
Right,
it could be anything. But when you see something that they have, you're like, I need that for my life. you can start to make the shift because you start to learn their roadmap to how they got there, and you can just follow it. And that's something you conveyed to me before we even started recording.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of great tips too on YouTube, and I'm a YouTube fanatic. That's the one thing. I don't have addictions. I'm addicted to YouTube because there is a wealth of information out there. If you're feeling a certain way, how can I better relationships? How can I raise my self-esteem? My ego is pretty high. How do I lower my ego so I can create whatever you're looking for? It is out there, and Billy and I have sent a lot of messages out, but all this information is out there, and I like to drink that before I get up in the morning because it makes you feel better. It makes you feel good. And like this girl, my friend that Billy was just talking about, we don't see each other that often, but when I see her, and I enjoy her company, but when I leave her, I feel light. Her energy is so positive. She doesn't dwell on the negative, and I know that sounds like hokey, but really, if you are around people that aren't making you feel good, you don't have to be put up all the time, but they're just listening, and you guys are offering a helping hand towards each other. And also, she's made some amazing strides in her life. I'm excited for her.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear. I'm supposed to meet her today. I can't wait to hear this course she's taking, what else she's doing. If you're doing things like this and your friend isn't happy for you, well, I'm going to tell you right now that is a red flag.
Yeah, and that falls right in line with what we started with the toxic environment, the toxic people that are around you. And what you just touched on, you said it real quickly, but your friend is there for you and she wants to know what's going on in your life. So she's looking to see what you're given. People that could be toxic to you, they're more of a self-centered outlook, where they are trying to see what they can get from being around you, and that's it. They're not trying to find out what they can give to you. So when you have a self-centered outlook, your self-esteem, your frequency tends to be lower. When you have an outward outlook, when you can see how can I help this person, how can I give to these people, how can I be there for them, just as you are with your friend, that's when your light, your frequency, your self-esteem tends to rise because it's not about you anymore. It's never about you. It's about what you could do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's all, it rises from who you surround yourself with. So this entire message is meant to be for you guys. Take a step back. Start to realize who you have around you, and if you are getting what you need out of that relationship.
Feel.
Yeah.
It's how we feel. It's all, that's what Dr. Joe Dispenza says. Don't be afraid to use the word feel. If something isn't feeling good inside, check in.
Yeah.
You're going to know.
Yeah.
You know something's not right. You know something's off. And I don't know, I think people are afraid to take a step back and say, I can't do that. I can't not hang out with I have to pick and choose when I hang out with my dad because I don't always feel light and fluffy when I leave a situation. I can't call every day because sometimes I'm like, oh, that was a drag, or I mean, I can't create what I came from. I can't redo my life, but I set boundaries of when I go there, who I hang out with, and that's adult.
Yeah.
That is adult. And sometimes you have to put your big girl pants on, your big boy pants on, and say, I'm just going to draw the line today, and I do believe you get more respect.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. And with that, the people there are people in your life, your family. You're going to be there for them, regardless of how they are with their But like you just said, you set the boundaries up where I can only take so much.
Yeah.
But when you can start to take your own self-respect back and you say, I'm going to draw the line here because I need to do this for me, it's incredible what just starts to happen in your life. It's incredible what gets brought into your life when you draw the line on what was sucking the life out of you.
Absolutely. You start to feel lighter.
Yeah.
And lightness is what you need to feel when you leave a situation, whether it's work or the gym, or not to say that every day is going to be light and fluffy. We might be in a difficult job that we like, but there are tough days. But if you're constantly feeling weighed down and heavy in a relationship, I promise you there's something you need to check in with yourself, not just the other person. Check in with yourself.
Yeah.
Setting boundaries.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and guys, we went over so much within a short amount of time in this video, whether it's neuropsych or toxic environment or boundaries or just what happens at a cellular level or just your self-esteem. But if you need to rewatch this video, do so, because this message is very informative, yes, but it's very powerful. And if you can take something out of this and use it for yourself, you're just a step closer to the life that you want to live, but a more of a healthy life that you're supposed to, be given, supposed to live on your own terms. But you got to take a step back to see who you're actually surrounding yourself with. And when you become the people you're around because you're just around them so much, what does that mean you're doing to others? What does that mean for you specifically? So take a step back. Start to realize who you're around. Start to realize how you're being affected by that. Is it positive? Is it negative? Are you getting what you want out of this? Or are you not getting anything out of this?
Right.
Are they the only one getting something out of this? Ask yourself that question. But truthfully, guys, I hope this message was powerful for you. Andrea, I thank you so much for being here today.
Thumbs up. Thank you.
If there's anything in this message that you have a question about, you want more information about, comment, and we'll be right there for you guys. We'll answer that question as fast as we can. But I appreciate you watching, and thank you for tuning in. And keep your eyes open, because Andrea's going to be back on the show with another great message. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made.